bad. Not too bad at all. Not too bad for a rookie in the tech game of things. I am James, you are you. We are here for the Tuesday, September 15th edition of At Home with James. It is 9:05 past the hour, unless you are in the Pacific Standard Time Zone. Had a brain freeze there, and I think I know why I'm having a brain freeze, because for the very first time since transitioning all the way from Instagram Live over to twitch.tv/athomewithjames, I am all alone. That's right. Back in the day when we were broadcasting from my telephone device, which can be found right here, iPhone something, I don't know. I had control of everything. I'd bring the guests in, I'd kick them out, I'd laugh when I kicked them off of the air mid-sentence. I controlled the show. And since we've moved, not only has Dave been in the booth, Smooth Carla has been in the booth, I am finally in the booth. And you might be asking, well, James, why are you in the booth tonight? Well, it's very simple. Everyone else is busy. Everyone else is busy, and we have yet to train anyone. And when I say we, I mean Dave or Carla. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't thank them for their months and months and months, 6 of them, years of fantastic service on this show. Where would I be without them? Or I'm going to tell you where I'd be. Doing this show alone without any guests. I'm going to tell you what I did with my day. This is my Monday. It's everyone else's Tuesday, but it's my Monday. I went down the street to Dave Kaufman's house, and I said, you have to train me on how to broadcast this show. And that's exactly what he did. We put all the panels in place. He showed me how to do the transitions. He let me know how to do the music. I looked at everything. I said, there is no chance in hell I can book 3 guests and subject them to what might possibly be technically the worst episode in At Home with James history, not to be confused with the real worst episode in At Home with James history, which happened to be my birthday episode, which, strangely enough, has over 100-something views on our Twitch archives. Now, breaking news. I know that on my little Instagram post I said that we would be talking about a programming announcement, but I have 2 announcements to make tonight. The first of which being, we apparently have now achieved affiliate status on Twitch. We have achieved affiliate status. Now that's big. That is big. Why is it big? I'm not sure. I'm going to have to get Dave or Carla to explain to me why it's big. I feel like I'm out of frame here. Why is this? This feels weird, you know? I'm not used to this. But I'll get used to it because I've got another, 42 minutes to go. We are now affiliates. And of course, I have to thank everyone who is subscribed to this channel to help us get to affiliate status. So hopefully, as the night goes on and on and on, someone will explain to me what affiliate status is. Now, there's somebody out there saying, James, how do you... That's not their voice. That's too cool of a voice. The voice is like, how do you not know what affiliate status is, James? It's your show. Look, I don't produce this show. My name is slapped on everything. My big fat face is slapped on everything. But the reality is, I just host the damn thing. That's what I do. I host the damn thing. I book the damn thing. Why am I so angry? This show started so positively with me talking about how I'm doing the show alone. I managed to transition from one screen to the next. We've got affiliate status. I think it means we can take donations now, which also means I might be able to reinvest in some type of was it topical fungal cream to get rid of this new case of ringworm that I'm currently suffering from. That's right. I once again have ringworm, if you didn't hear the other breaking news on this past Saturday's show. On tonight's show, just me, no guests. This is where we're at. The audience, along with me, we're coming together. You know how at the beginning of every show I really like rant and rave, and then at about the 8 to 10 to 11 minute mark, I go, you've had enough of me. This is the whole show tonight. But it doesn't mean that a guy like me can't come up with a nice, hot format for people like you, the loyal viewers out there in twitch.tv/@home-with-James-land. On tonight's show, as mentioned, there is a programming announcement which will come much later on. It's very exciting. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you will enjoy it as much as everyone in the at-home family has agreed upon enjoying it. I also put a call out for a series of Q&A questions. Tonight is Ask James Anything. I've got at least, 18 questions, something like that. That feels good. Now, if you're asking yourself, James, how do you intend to fill up an hour? That's the answer. That's the answer. We're going to fill it up together by way of my answers towards your questions. But you might be out there and you're like, James, there's no way. You're not cut out for this. You can't sit here for an hour and talk. That's where you're wrong, buckaroo. Word on the street is I've been known to perform to live audiences for upwards of an hour, if not more, in a couple little solo shows. Oh, I don't know. How about Look at This Guy? How about Bunham Caramel? How about the 2-time award-winning Scum FM? Just me sitting on stage, talking into a mic, just like this. So that's what we're going to do. You and me. You might not like it, but I love it. I don't know why I'm projecting that onto anyone. It's not necessary. I want to thank everyone for being in the chat tonight. I appreciate you. We might have an intimate and interactive show tonight, but that's what tonight is all about. Without any further ado, I would like for us to get on to the questions that have been so graciously sent to me by way of our lovely audience. This first question states, what was your favorite WrestleMania, and have you ever been to one live? That's a great question. For those of you who don't know, not only am I a wrestling fan, well, I don't know. I can't watch it anymore. I'll turn it on. It kind of repulses me. I can't do it. We'll get into that another day maybe. Favorite WrestleMania? I don't know. I feel like WrestleMania 6 is a pretty good one. Like if you go back now, the action doesn't really hold up all that well. But you have that great Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan match. These two indestructible forces colliding. It's everything that a little boy or a little girl or a little person would want out of a professional wrestling match. Have I ever been to one live? No, I've never been to a WrestleMania live. It sounds daunting now that the shows are 7 hours. Who wants to sit there for 7 hours? Imagine sitting around for 7 hours of wrestling or 7 hours of an improv show. God, end it. Okay, we're moving on to our next question. Tell us a good Thomas Barnwell story. Thomas Barnwell, friend of the show, has been here a multitude of times. Now, when I saw this question, I thought, Thomas Barnwell story. Do I have any Thomas Barnwell stories? I met him a couple years ago. I taught him some improv classes. He's a great guy. But do I have any Thomas Barnwell stories? I sent him a message, and I said, hey, Thomas, somebody wants to know if I have any good Thomas Barnwell stories, and he literally answered me, are there any good Thomas Barnwell stories? And then I managed to rack my brain right up here, the noggin. I found one a couple months ago before COVID hit and changed the world and turned us all into a bleak society. I walked into the green room of the previously living Montreal Improv Theater, and I saw Thomas Barnwell dressed exactly like me. He was dressed just like me. He had a hoodie on. He had a flannel. He had a kind of a flimsy toque, which I've been known to wear. And he put some glasses on. And this guy started impersonating me right to my face. Now, for people who might not be in the know with the world of James, I'm not somebody that people take the piss out of very much. That is up until I started hosting the show, especially the last month when everyone picks on me. But people don't generally toy around with me. They don't give me the gears, as the kids say. They don't yank my chain. But Thomas Barnwell started impersonating me to my face, and I loved every minute of it. Because he had the audacity, he had the nerve to really stick it to me in a time when no one else does. I like to impersonate people. I do a bit of a Thomas Barnwell impersonation. I impersonate almost everyone who comes on this show, for the most part. Maybe we'll do a James Impersonates People life. So you out there, you wanted a Thomas Barnwell story? He didn't even know there was a Thomas Barnwell story out there, but there you go. That's my Thomas Barnwell story. Okay, this is an incredibly irrelevant question. What is your favorite sandwich at Subway? That's when you know that you have made a true connection with your audience, when they are interested in your sandwich eating habits at Subway. Eat fresh. Now, I have not eaten at Subway in a number of months. I can't even tell you the last time I ate at Subway. My favorite sandwich is whatever the cheapest one is. Is that ham? The ham sandwich? This person also wants to know what I put on the Subway sandwich. I don't know. Lettuce, tomato, pickle, onion, honey mustard. You know, that's what we're doing tonight. I'm talking about my sandwiches. Real Sid Rock in the chat. Did the stream just freeze for a second, or was that just me? It might be all of us, because I noticed the freeze. I refreshed. I'm fine. This is what happens when I don't have Dave and Carla all night long. We might go through a series of freezes. Is that what my connection is doing to us? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Next question on the James Q&A. Ask Me Anything, the AMA. How many cups of coffee do you normally drink per day? How do you take it? I suppose it depends on what type of coffee I'm drinking, doesn't it? If I'm drinking a filtered coffee, give me a cream and a sugar. If I'm drinking a latte, give me a pinch of sugar. It's already kind of watered down due to the excessive amounts of cow byproduct in there. How many coffees a day? I don't know, 2, 3, maybe. I'm pretty caffeinated most of the time, I think. I never feel it. I talked about this on Saturday. I don't really get much of a buzz from coffee. I'd like to feel it. If somebody knows a way to really get it into me and get me going, let me know. Slide into my DMs, as the perverts say. We're going to move on to our next question. How much do you sleep at night, James? What is your usual bedtime on a work night versus the weekend? Here's the deal. Work nights mean nothing to me anymore. Weekends mean nothing to me anymore. This could easily be a Sunday, or tomorrow could be a Saturday. Work nights, I haven't worked in months. This is my new job. Consider this my job in that it's a job where I don't get paid a single cent. Although I do understand that you can start donating through your Amazon Prime account right here to twitch.tv/athomewithjames. So if someone wants to contribute $5 to my hydro bill, I'd gladly appreciate that. Don't do that. I'm going to feel disgusted if someone does that. How much do I sleep at night? I don't know. 7 to 9 hours, 10 on a good night. Maybe I'll have a real late one. I'll sit on my couch and I'll listen to ELO or something and stare out my window. Didn't mean for that to sound bleak, but it did. Next question on the James Ask Me Anything. What is your favorite Mark Paulicel story? How did you meet? For people who don't know, Mark Paulicel is a longtime independent wrestling promoter out of the Ottawa Valley. He runs, I think it's Vanier, which is a subsidiary of Ottawa. I've heard that it's a disgusting part of Ottawa. I don't know if there's any Ottawa heads in the crowd. Maybe you can determine whether or not Vanier is disgusting. I'm not quite sure. I suppose I met Mark Paulicel in 2005 when I was nothing but a wee tot in the independent wrestling world. Favorite Mark Paulicel story, I remember one time at a show that he was running, a unruly fan ran into the wrestling ring, and he also followed suit and attacked the fan. He bear hugged the fan and lifted this crazy drunken person up and slammed them to the ground. And that's the thing. If you're at a wrestling show, don't jump into the crowd. It's all predetermined, but you're going to get kicked in the face. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to have to kick anyone in the face. A couple of years ago, someone threw beer at me in the show and then tried to hit me, and then I had to slap their beer out of their hand to show them that I'm a big tough boy and I mean business. We're moving on to our next question. What is your favorite item at Burger King? I don't know, the Whopper. Whopper, that sounds like it's fine. The crispy chicken sandwiches, they're pretty good. Does anyone know that I was in a Burger King commercial last year? Or was it the year before? And trust me, there's nothing, well, I'm sure there is, but there's a special type of unique embarrassment that comes with being on a commercial in which people message you who you haven't heard from in 10 years. And they say, was that you in the Burger King commercial? Oh, yeah, that was in fact me. What? That's so awesome. Did you get to eat free Burger King? Yeah, it wasn't catered, so the restaurant, they gave us free Burger King. And do you get free Burger King forever now? No, it's just the one-time day. Oh, but I am doing this show as part of the Fringe Festival. Tickets are like $12, so if you want to come, I don't know. I'd really rather see you in another Burger King commercial because I'd like to support you from afar and not personally So that's my favorite Burger King item. Moving on to our next question. We're getting to the bottom of the barrel now. Jean Coutu or Pharmaprix? I don't know. Jean Coutu, because they sell bottles of Coca-Cola for $1.39. That's my pick. I would say there's a wider variety at Pharmaprix, though. Another local question, Lily and Ollie or Ma Bicyclette. So for people who don't know, Lily and Ollie and Ma Bicyclette are two local to St. Henry third wave coffee shops. If I had to pick, and I'm a big fan of both, I go to Lily and Ollie, I chat with them. I don't have the same rapport with people at Ma Bicyclette. Although Ma Bicyclette is a very aesthetically pleasing place. Lily and Ollie, they're my type of people. They're friendly, but also kind of cynical at the same time. If I have to pick, you're putting a gun to my head, which you aren't. Lily and Ollie is my number one pick for favorite coffee. Here we go. Mark Rowland of Nerd vs. Noob or Mr. Clean. Now that's not nice. I suspect that you're referencing how they're both not only without hair, but incredibly ripped, right? That's the whole point of the question, that there's no hair, but they're both muscular, vascular, and they both wear tight t-shirts. What am I going to do? I'm going to pick Mr. Clean, a fictitious cartoon mascot, over one of my favorite CPFs, close personal friend. That's it's horrible to make me pick, because Mr. Clean, frankly, does have great products. They have great products. So if I have to pick, I'm going to go with Mark Rowland by a slight margin. I can't tell if the stream is freezing. If it is, refresh. Moving on, dogs or cats? I like both. I guess dogs are friendlier. T-Rex or Triceratops? My answer is I don't care at all. I don't care about dinosaurs. I've never cared about dinosaurs. Maybe if I had to pick, it would be The Land Before Time, if there was anything to do with dinosaurs. If your life was a soundtrack, what songs would be on it? This is a great question, because I love music. I love music. I suppose you got to throw in Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer. I'm going to put Epic, Faith No More in there. I'm going to put Jim Croce, Don't Mess Around with Jim. What else do I want to put on? I jot a couple down. Guns N' Roses, Get in the Ring. Maybe any track from Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill. I mean, putting these soundtracks is like very emotional, in the sense that the many songs cater, I think, to different time periods. Right now, things are very blasé. I've been listening to Earl Scruggs recently. A lot of Kurt Weill. Just the perfect amount of misery in the music. Joni Mitchell. Can we talk about Joni Mitchell for a second? River. There's not enough folk Christmas fusion. And if you're out there, go put on Joni Mitchell River after the show. It's going to take you to a beautiful Christmas visage, but at the same time, you'll be like, oh, I'm miserable. But Santa Claus is coming soon, so maybe some Bryan Adams. I don't know. This one is a hard one, because a lot of these I only read very briefly before the show. This one, I wish I could have dedicated more time to. Who is the richest person you've ever met, and why was it Dale Bernier? Well, I can assure you that it is absolutely not Dale Bernier. Dale Bernier is not the richest person that I met. Richest person, I ran into former Montreal Canadian Maxime Lapierre coming out of, what was it called? Gas Bar? A nightclub on Boulevard Saint Laurent in like 2011. And I suspect he's rich. I hope that he stayed rich. I hope that his finances are in order, although he's doing a show similar to this on YouTube with Guillaume Latendresse. So if anything, me and Max Lapierre are the exact same. And that night, Max Lapierre was playing a game with the Canadians in Toronto. And I guess they chartered back, and I guess his first order of business was to get to Gas Bar Lounge on Saint Laurent. And as he was coming out, I saw him. And I don't care about talking to famous people. I couldn't care less. But I blurted out, "Hey, Max Lapierre." And he turned around and he said, "What up, dog?" Now, I don't know if he had been watching American Idol and he thought, Randy Jackson is the coolest guy out there. I better start talking like Randy Jackson. But he referred to me as Dog, D-A-W-G. Very friendly, very nice. And then I said, "Hey, great game tonight." And then it occurred to me that the Canadians played poorly And when those words were uttered from my lips, his total demeanor changed, and he goes, "Oh, yeah." He thought that I was effing with him. He thought that I was taking the piss out of him, much like Thomas Barnwell was taking the piss out of me in the green room at Montreal Improv. And only in noticing that I offended him, I said, "Great second period," because he had a pretty good second period that night. So I don't know if there's any Canadians archivalist. 2000 and maybe 10, 2011, they lost to the Leafs on a Saturday night. Just know that Max Lapierre was on the team. The 10-11 season, maybe. Check it out. They lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Bruins. At the same time, my former boss, when I moved to Montreal, was so rich to the point that I was made aware that this guy had gone so long without buying his own groceries that he wasn't aware of how much milk costs. Now, that is a very unique type of rich when you don't know how much milk costs. Any of us can take a shot in the dark. A 1 liter, I don't know, $1.89. Maybe that's for 3.25 homogenized. This guy didn't know how much milk cost. One time he sent me out to buy, he came out into the commoners area from his ivory tower, and he said, "James, I want some soda. Can you go get us some soda?" Referring to me and him. And I said, "Yeah, I can do that. I'll take any excuse to leave the office. I'm a terrible employee. I don't like working." And he gave me $10 and asked, "Is this enough?" That's when you know you're rich, when you can hand somebody a $10 bill and ask, "Is this enough for 2 sodas?" So maybe Max Lapierre and my former boss, who also, when one of our coworkers died at the funeral, made it a point to do a speech saying that he was the deceased person's boss. Is that weird? Go to a funeral and it was an open mic funeral, by the way, which is, there's something to that. I don't know, something to scratch there, like a lotto ticket. He opened with, "I was so-and-so's boss." His opener at a funeral for this dead guy, who we all liked, was, "Hello, everyone. I was so-and-so's boss." It's a bold move. So that's the richest guy I know. He doesn't know how much milk costs, how much 2 sodas cost, and he introduces himself at funeral open mics as dead people's boss. Going to move on to our next question. What is something a burglar wouldn't want to see if they broke into your home during COVID? I don't know. Me defecating on my floor. I could go with the usual stuff. Do you want me to get, vulgar with this? I can't get vulgar with it. That's for Steph Mercier-Voyer to do on Fridays. I'm as clean as a whistle. You might as well call me Mr. Clean. I'm co-opting the Mr. Clean brand. I am Mr. Clean. I only do clean comedy, even though I did just talk about defecating on my floor. I guess if a burglar came in, I'm looking at my door right now trying to imagine what this would be horrible. If a burglar came in, you sticking me up with some type of firearm, put your hands up. "Hey, what are you doing, man?" "Oh, I'm doing my nightly Twitch show for my viewers." That would be bad. And then he fires off a warning shot, and then I defecate in my wheelie chair that's only a few months old. That's probably the last thing that I would want for a burglar to notice coming into my home. Burglar comes in. His name is Todd, 1D. He's got a ski mask on with a COVID mask over it because he wants to keep it safe at the same time as being dangerous. And so, "What are you doing?" "Sir, I'm just doing my Twitch show." Warning shot, and then I flood my pants with diarrhea. So that's probably the thing that I would least want during armed robbery. Also, it says during COVID, so I guess the COVID mask came into play. Here's another question. If you could go anywhere in the world pre-COVID times, where would you go? Here we go. Nice boring answer. We're going to go with Burlington, Vermont. Now, anyone who knows me knows that I think I have some form of spiritual connection with Burlington, Vermont. At my worst, I think to myself, I wish that I could walk up Main Street in Burlington, Vermont, hang a right, go into Muddy Waters, which is a beautiful wooden cabin-esque coffee shop. Get a latte, maybe an Americano. I don't know. walk up the street a little more because Lake Champlain is right there. Sit by the water, sit by the boats, sip my coffee. Maybe before I get to the water, I go to Church Street. I hang another right. I go into the Phoenix, which is a great bookstore. Used books, new books. Everything smells great in there. It's like incense. Maybe I buy a book. I leave. I get back onto Church Street. Maybe I go to Hank's. Or is it Henry's? I think it's Henry's. Have a skillet breakfast. Then maybe I go back to Bunny Waters. Maybe I have the breakfast. I buy a book. No, I have the breakfast. I go buy a coffee. I buy the book. Then I go to Lake Champlain. I sit by the water. It's fall time. I'm wearing this. I just realized I didn't take my coat off. I was so paranoid that I was going to mess up the show that I got home. I didn't take my coat off. But damn, I look cool. I'm going to tell you why. Why do I look cool? Because I'm cut from a different cloth. Can you see that? That's what it's cut from a different cloth. What am I doing? I'm not sponsoring the Altamont clothing brand. That would be where I would go post-COVID. I can't wait to go post-COVID now. Sign me up. You think I'm happy about missing the annual Burlington, Vermont tree lighting extravaganza on Church Street at the Church Street Marketplace? That's what I want to do. I want to go there and I want to see Bag O' Chips, the local theater company, do 'Twas the Night. I want to see Tom Mesner of NBC Local 5 News ring in the holiday season. That's what I want to do. And we're not going to do it this year because the states are a mess. They're a mess. And I'm sorry to everyone who lives in the states, but I'm mostly sorry for myself, Dave Kaufman, his wife, Sarah Howard, and their baby, because now we can't go on our little family outing. And I was going to get the front seat. Clearly, one of them was going to drive. I was going to sit in the passenger seat while the other parent would be in the back with the baby. I've been waiting for years to get to that front seat in the Kaufman-Howard car. In any event, we have a couple more questions. For those of you just tuning in, I am James, you are you, we are here. This is At Home with James, the All Alone edition, part 2. Although I think I'm handling it a lot better than I did the first time around when I was losing my mind on Instagram Live, which was voted by Sid Rock as greatest episode in At Home with James history. So there's that. We're going to move on to our next question. When's the last time someone really got into your face and wanted to test you? Okay, so we have to go to the wrestling world again. I regaled everyone with a little story about how a drunken fan during a wrestling match was so inebriated that they threw a full beer at me, which I was able to avoid, happily. Later on, as the match began, they tried to throw another beer at me, but before that, they came with their hand cocked, ready to strike me. Again, this person, I'm sure, is a totally fine person. They didn't know what they were doing because they were totally schlotzed, totally plastered, totally 3 sheets to the wind, totally SHIT faced, totally buzzed. And as I saw their hand raising into the air as if to bring down the hand of Christ, a beer was in their other hand, and I slapped the beer out of their hand. Now, if you're interested in seeing this interaction, you can follow me on Instagram at @It'sJamesMcGee. It's in my highlighted stories. I believe the tag is when fans go crazy, something of the sort. You can see that. There was also a time when I mocked an angry fan in the front row, and this person tried to also attack me, in which security was able to stop them because after that other incident, I was given my own personal security team. This goes back to my thought from earlier. If you're at a wrestling show, don't they're just playing parts, right? If a comedian is doing a tight 5 and they do some crowd work, you're not going to get on the stage, right? Or maybe you will. Maybe you're a lunatic. I don't know. Just leave performers alone. That was the last time somebody, I guess, got in my face and tried to test me. They also spit right in my face as well, which means you're doing your job as a pro wrestling villain. What's the last time you received immense pleasure? I don't know if I've ever received immense pleasure, if we're getting right down to the brass tacks of it. Maybe, I don't know, I love the holidays. Christmas Day is great. You know, you sit down with your friends, your family, You have a nice dinner. That's very pleasurable. Performing, great. There's some nights I leave this show, I'm buzzed out of my mind. I think I got to go for a walk. I got to walk this off. I get the post-show buzz. I don't know if I'm going to have that tonight. Tonight, I'm just going to feel happy that I was able to get through the hour while working on this kind of confrontational tone, which is not, I'm not trying to do it. It just happens. Mic goes on, I'm there. Something to work on in the new year is a New Year's resolution. Immense pleasure. Probably anytime an audience reacts incredibly warmly to something that I said. Oh, you know what immense pleasure? This past Saturday, we held the first ever post-Montreal Improv Death Montreal Improv show at a park. A group that I had been working with and teaching for months on end. They had their show. I hosted it. They did fantastic. There was like a group of 40 people there, which I'm sure we'll be able to trace some transmission of COVID back to at some point. After the fact, I thought I should have tried to do more to kind of keep the security going there and keep people distanced, but I didn't. But if you caught COVID, it's not my fault. You know the rules as best as I do. In any event, they did great. Everyone hung out in the park after. I felt immense pleasure. I came back here. I did the show with Jason Grimmer, Tom Barnwell, Monica Schneider, who was tipsy. She talked about hot guys. I felt quite immense pleasure from that. Moving on to our next question. What's the funniest thing you've seen at a improv student grad show? My God. We're talking 7 years of grad shows here. You're putting me in between a rock and a hard place, because if I say one person's grad show moment and not everyone else's, my God, the greatest thing I've seen in a grad show, I don't think I can answer that. You're asking me to go 7 years into this old foam dome over here. Let me think about it, okay? Let me think about if I can come up with any type of memory. The funniest thing that I've seen at a grad show. I'll get back to you. I'll have to think about it. So another question here. What gets you mad? Well, I'd say rudeness, general rudeness. That makes me mad. I don't like when I'm going to go purchase something and I talk to the counter attendant and I go, "Hey, how are you?" And they look at me and they go, "Good." No you back. But I get it. They might be having a bad day. Maybe the person before me who they served farted, or they yelled at them, or maybe they go home to an awful spouse at night, and then you get me coming to the counter, "Hey, how are you?" And they probably think I'm being sarcastic, but I'm not. What gets me mad? Incompetence makes me mad. I'd say incompetence, but a very specific type of incompetence. If you're just, a kind-hearted person, but you're not good at stuff, that's fine. But if you're like, you suck and you think you're great, spare me. I don't want it. What else makes me mad? Entitlement. That makes all of us mad, right? People who complain about things that they don't have, just go do it, or go do a version of it, right? Don't blame everyone for your problems. Get mad at the government or whatever for taxes. That's fine. Don't get mad at me or any other people for stuff that you don't have. It's not my fault you don't have a cool jacket like I do. That's what gets me mad. Here's another question. What TV or movie character do you identify with? Oh my God. Some of these are becoming real doozies here. What TV character or movie character do you most identify with? Oh my God. I think there's probably something to be said about Wayne Campbell in Wayne's World. I love that movie. Wayne loves to have a good time. He's probably a little bit more jovial than me. Maybe Jack Arnold, the dad from the Wonder Years. I remember and if you don't know the Wonder Years, you should go watch it. One of the most important shows. Kevin Arnold, his son, was curious about what his dad did. He said, "Dad, what's your day like?" And Jack, the father, maybe the best TV dad in history, said, "I wake up, I fight traffic, I go to work, I leave work, I fight traffic again, I pay taxes, and I go to bed. And then I do it all over again." That kind of, I felt that level of, disenfranchised energy spoke to me many years ago, and it still speaks to me now. Those are the two characters that stick out, I would say, the most freely in my brain. What's your idea of letting loose or getting a little wild? Well, okay, we're getting into it now. We're getting a little wild, a little saucy on the show tonight. Okay, I don't know. Do I get loose? If you're in the chat and you know me, maybe you could speak to some moments of when I get loose. I don't think I get loose. Sometimes, you know what? Here's a revelation. Sometimes I've been known, as much as I've declared that I hate it, I don't mind doing some dancing to make my friends laugh, and it's going to be very, very intimate. Okay? I'm not just going to dance for anyone. That might be getting a little loose. I would say, maybe after a particularly successful show, I'm taking the metro. Maybe I'm with Dimitri Kirez. We're inching in at midnight, which is a time where I love to be at home, getting ready for bed. We're on the metro going home, and I say, you know what? It'd be pretty crazy if we got off at Chinatown right now and had some dinner on the Lazy Susan. And he looks at me, and I can see it. He wants to say yes, and I nudge him a little bit. We get off the metro, Champ de Mars or Place d'Armes. I'm not getting home till 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I might even have to cab home. That's me getting loose or getting a little wild, okay? That feels like me getting loose, getting a little wild. Because it's certainly not puffing the magic dragon. Does anyone puff it like that? Puff, puff, pass. Don't Bogart that, my friend. I'm not drinking wine coolers or a Smirnoff Ice or a Mike's Hard Lemonade. I might take a walk at about 11 o'clock at night sometimes. Put in the earbuds, listen to some music. That's probably the extent of me getting loose or wild, so to speak. Let's go to the chat for a couple questions. Now, are you guys enjoying this tonight? I hope you are. I'm having a good time. This is an exciting challenge. Earlier today, I'm going to let you know that when I found out I was going to be the one tech in the show, I thought to myself, I may have to cancel tonight's show. And that would have thrown off our 5 nights a week up to this point. What do you call it? A episodic streak that we're going on. So I hope you're enjoying an evening alone. This is almost like we're on a date together. You're asking me questions, and I feel, I'm so selfish. I'm just not asking anything about you. So if you see any of these questions, that's me being a cutie, by the way. Oh, that's really interesting. Oh, stop. Yeah, I know it's a very cool coat. Let's go to the chat for a couple questions here. Here's one. James, what was the last book that you read? I'm pretty sure it was I'm like 99% sure it was the, I guess, like unauthorized but endorsed autobiography of the life and times and career of eccentric rock band Faith No More. But I've got a closet of books that I have made myself put down on a to-do list to read. Next book I want to read is called Going Up the Country, which is about hippies and freaks and weirdos. Where? In the state of Vermont, specifically in Burlington. So that's, that's probably the last book that I read or the last book that I want to read. So we got another question coming in here. Someone gives you $100,000. What is the first thing you buy? I guess dinner. I guess that's probably the best thing is I'd probably buy, and it wouldn't be an expensive dinner. I'd probably buy a club sandwich, something that I can afford now. And even though I can afford it now, I feel guilty. I should think, I shouldn't buy. I should cook dinner. What am I doing? I shouldn't be buying a club sandwich, especially not during these difficult and uncertain times. Barely working. And then I get $100 and I'd probably still feel bad. Like, am I going to go down a club sandwich spiral here? I'd probably buy dinner. I think if I had money, like a real fun amount of money, I would most likely move to, again, a very humble but maybe bigger home. As much as I love my apartment, I almost gave out my address I almost gave up I was going to say my wonderful home here at Ba Avenue. I can't do that. The fact that I'm letting the entire World Wide Web into my home is already too much. So I'd probably move. I would hire some type of decorator and some type of kitsch item hunter. Now I'm really letting you in the mind of James. This unusual and abstract. I think I'm a normal guy. Some might disagree. And I would decorate my entire home to look like some type of 70s bachelor pad. I'd have a nice record player system, very old. The sound doesn't even need to be good. In fact, I want it to sound bad. Shag carpeting, maybe orange or green couches, a lot of mood lighting, maybe a sunken in. Yeah, maybe you got to go down. When you open them, you got to go down a couple steps to get into the living room. Maybe some groovy chairs, man. Yeah, like one of those places where people like would be hanging out on the ground. Like you come in and you see like Dimitri, contributor to the show, like laying on the ground. And he's only pretend smoking a marijuana cigarette because I don't want marijuana in my house. And like maybe like Bad Company's playing on the record player or some I don't know, Vanilla Fudge, something real trippy, man. And then everything in here is vintage, wood paneling. Let's go wood paneling. That's what I want. Yeah, in the chat, Carlama, a drug den. I want a drug den without the drugs. That's what I want. This is my dream, and I feel confident. I feel confident that at some point I will meet someone who I will eventually live with, or they will come and live with me. And they'll be like, "Oh, James, maybe we could change this." And I'll be like, "Hey, man, back off. Don't kill my buzz." I don't know why this is my opinion of myself, that's going to be my voice, that I'm some stoner without the stoner stuff. But I feel like this is a feasible dream if I make the $100,000, right? People would love coming to my house. We're going to move on to the next question. French kiss or regular kiss? Why not both? Why choose in this climate? I don't know why climate made sense. Let's see if we have any more questions in the chat here. Do you exercise, if ever? Coming from Farm Boy. The boy is an 8. Do I exercise? I take sometimes multiple walks a day. I've never stepped foot into a gym in my life to work out. At one point when I was, here we go, another revelation, part of a comedy dance troupe, we would rehearse at Le Gym inside of Concordia. So I had to walk through a gym. And let me tell you something. We'd warm up. We'd hammer out the push-ups, squats, sit-ups. And at one point, I shit you not, I had abs. I had abs, much like Mirage, one of Dimitri Kirez's security team members. That's what I look like, except without the tan and the, shame. Do I have any tattoos? Yes or no? I have no tattoos. I have no desire to have any tattoos. Tattoos aren't going to look good on a guy. What am I going to get? Barbed wire around my arm? Or like, I'm going to get like improv across my chest. But then the artist is going to misspell it. It's going to say improve. And then I'll get yes and around my belly button. And he'll misspell that too. He'll say yes, Andy. And then anytime I have my shirt off in front of people, they're going to say, "Is Andy your ex?" And I'll say, "No, absolutely not. I don't know any Andys that I would date." Here's another interesting question. Ass worship or light petting? I'm not familiar with this type of questioning. I'm starting to wonder if this question came from the Game Master, who provides us questions every week in the Nerd Quiz featuring Mark Rowland. Also, Mark will be back on Friday. I understand that Nerd versus Noob will not be happening. I also understand that he will not be taking part in another Nerd Quiz. I got an email from the Game Master saying something to the effect of, what happens on Friday will be the most unexpected and shocking moment in At Home with James history. The thing was, it was all sent in lowercase. Once again, it came from the game master. His email is overlord616sith@gmail.com. Another question, what do you take in your coffee? I already answered this. It's if it's a latte, we're going a pinch of sugar. If we're having a filtered coffee, 1 cream, 1 sugar. Sometimes I go half of sugar. What's your most prized possession and why? My money? Is that my most prized possession? Money? I've received a variety of gifts that are so sentimental to me. People have commissioned artwork that I've showed on the old Instagram show. Maybe I'll take some pictures and I'll show it off at some point. Very sentimental. I love all my little Coca-Cola stuff here, but I mean, money, I guess. I have to go money, right? But is that a horrible answer? It's like, that's like, so disgusting. Like, that's like something some rich prick would say. I don't know. Most of my gifts, sometimes I get gifts and I want to cry, but the it won't come out. It won't come out. Got a question in the chat from Artsy Fox. Artsy spelled ARTSI. I just got in. What's going on? Well, I'm going to tell you something, Artsy Fox. I'm running solo tonight. So if you're just tuned in, this is the All Alone Part 2 episode of At Home with James. I am teching tonight's show. I was so insecure. That's right. Just because I'm wearing a cool jacket doesn't mean that I'm above feeling insecure about stuff, specifically my technical capabilities or lack thereof. So we're doing a little At Home with James Q&A. That's what's going on, Artsy Fox. Favorite Netflix show right now from Artsy Fox. I'm going to tell you something. I've consumed such little media on Netflix, Crave. I don't even have a Crave account or an Amazon Prime account. I borrow somebody's Netflix account. I'm not watching any. The last thing I watched on Netflix was Dirty Grandpa. So that's where I'm at right now. Although, someone has told me about some documentary series that HBO has produced about some type of sex cult. I love documentary series. I will watch that. But Artsy Fox, I don't know who you are. I feel I need to give you an answer. I watched, and I'm late to the party, Wild Wild Country very early on in COVID, and I loved it. And I think, and I'm still not quite sure why, I developed some type of crush on Ma Anand Sheila. Everyone says it's the way that she says tough titties. I'm not into that word all that much. I don't care much for that word. That would be my favorite thing that I've seen on Netflix as of late. Now, look, I didn't mean to disparage Andy Asaf. I just don't think I want a tattoo. And just because I said Andy doesn't mean right away Andy Asaf, right? I know a couple other Andys, none of which that I'm close with, and I'm certainly not going to get any tattoos from them. So, yes, I'm aware that my money answer as my prized possession was awful. I corrected it. I have some very sentimental items and art that people have commissioned for me that's very nice. Moving on to our next question. What activity instantly calms you? That's a great question. Again, this is a very coffee-heavy night. I'm not some coffee snob as much as I want the At Home with James roast by way of the Canadian Roasting Society, and I want you to Google them and go give them your business. They're the fine people behind Tunnel Espresso. They were doing pop-up free coffee giveaways every weekend for months. The least you could do is go down there. You say, I sent you, you get no discount. But what you do is support a very high quality local business. Having a coffee calms me down. Going down by the Lachine Canal, sitting down on a bench right on my bony arse, having myself a coffee, it's fantastic. Another question, do you have a Dimitri tattoo? Now, I can't tell if this means do I have a tattoo of Dimitri Kirez or a Dimitri style tattoo. The answer is an emphatic no. Now look, guys, I've done about 50 minutes. We started about 5 minutes over. It's 9:55 on the clock. Here's the deal. I've answered a bunch of questions, and I teased all of you. I took out a little feather, a proverbial one, on my Instagram account, and I tickled you a little bit. And I tickled you with a programming announcement. A little tickle. Now, we've had programming announcements on the show, one of which being, hey, folks, we're moving the show from Instagram Live over to Twitch. And now we make a new programming announcement and adjustment. Starting next Monday, we are back to Monday nights right here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the first announcement. We are back to Mondays. I am so excited about starting the week at the same time as everyone else. But what we will be doing, I'm nervous talking about this. I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint people. Not only are we going back to Monday, but we will be shifting from a 5-night schedule to a 3-night schedule. We will be broadcasting on Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday. Now, before I get into the cool part, I feel a responsibility, a kinship with the audience that is watching, who have been supporting this show for ages, to explain to you why we're doing this. As we fall into the normality of COVID and things get better and worse and better and worse, some of us, namely James, needs to find a way to once again start making the money, as they say. So, I will be making my Tuesdays and Thursdays available to be teaching improv classes. But at the same time, what did I say? Carla's in the chat. He meant Monday, Wednesday, Friday. What the hell did I say, Carla? I can't believe I busted up my own friggin' announcement. We will be broadcasting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But the reason for this is that the brain trust of this show, we believe that we can tighten up and concentrate what we're doing. God, I said Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday. All this weed talk has maybe given me some type of bizarre high. I was doing so well alone. I was doing so GD well alone. We believe, the At Home with James team, that we can take what we've been doing for 5 nights a week and put it into 3 solid nights a week. And at the same time, this gives us the opportunity to better promote this show. We want what our loyal friends who watch, we want what you guys experience to be what more people experience, because the fact is, I believe that we have been doing some very, very high quality comedy over the past few months, and I think that it is important to expose this comedy. Did I need to use the word expose? For some reason, the word popped into my brain and I saw 3 X's, so I don't know where life is going for my brain right now. Maybe it was the question about French kiss or regular kiss. We want to be able to share this show with more people. In order to do that, we need to promote. How do you promote? I'm not a marketing expert. I've never claimed to be, but we do think that trimming shows will give people an opportunity to tune in a little bit more. Now then, you didn't think that was going to be it, did you? I'm happy to announce that in addition to going back to Monday, to trimming to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, once a month on Saturday nights, we will be providing to you a special edition of At Home with James that will be unlike what you see in the regular editions. You remember all those weeks ago when we had the Ruth Booth special on Saturdays? Saturdays are when we're going to get a little funky. Saturdays are when we're going to get a little weird. Saturdays are when we might have a whole bunch of guests. We might have game shows. Heck, we might even do a little bit of role playing. Now, if you're out there, which you are, you know what role playing means in the world of At Home with James. We might do a bit of make-believe. Might do a bit of improv. I don't know. But Saturdays, once a month, might as well call them the big event, which was also apparently code for the conspiracy that some people believe was the assassination of JFK by the American government. It was apparently called the big event. That's what we're going to do. We're going to blow the roof off one Saturday a month. But you didn't think that was it, did you? No. Not only are we going to be shifting back to Monday, and not only are we trimming our weekly schedule, and not only are we going to be doing a special Saturday edition once a month, we are going to be dabbling one Sunday a month with a morning edition of At Home with James, where maybe we take it a little easy. Maybe me and our guests, we pour ourselves some coffee and we have our own edition of Canada AM. Maybe it's the morning show. Maybe it's where we go totally loose, unscripted, unfiltered, and we just chat. We riff as comedians at the bar after a poorly attended stand-up show like to do. So that is how we will be changing our programming right here on twitch.tv/athomewithjames. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I saved it, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Once a month on Saturday, 9 o'clock or 6 o'clock, a big event, a Saturday special, a Saturday surprise, a Saturday extravaganza where we kick the door down and we get crazy. We get down on it. Maybe things get a little dirty. Maybe we do a late show. I don't know what we're going to do. Everyone's thinking, is James on coke? No, I've never done cocaine in my life. And Sunday mornings, once a month, we're going to get loose. Maybe we'll throw on some jazz music. That is what is to come on At Home with James. Now, do you want to throw some money at me? I'd love it. I'm going to have a little meeting after the show with Smooth Carla, and she's going to explain Twitch to me. Before we do that, and before we wrap up, I want to see if I can place a phone call. And if it'll pick up on the mic here, we're going to check in with another contributor. We're going to check in with Dave Kaufman right now. So hopefully you can hear this.
Hello?
Hey, Dave.
Hey, it's pretty late, man.
Yeah, it's 10:02 p.m. Are you okay?
Yeah, I just put my daughter to bed, and I was about to fall asleep when you woke me up.
Okay, so you put your daughter to bed, and you were about to fall asleep?
Yeah, I was dozing off.
Okay, what are you wearing?
What am I wearing? I'm wearing my jams. I got my pajama hat on.
Oh, like one of those
sunglasses.
Oh, you got a pajama hat on and sunglasses?
Yeah. Just ready to doze off. It's my cool dreams.
So you wear the sunglasses so you can have cool dreams?
That's right. It gets real sunny in my dreams.
Well, that sounds nice. Dave, I just want to know if you were able to watch any of the show tonight.
I didn't really catch most of it. I was out. I was having, living my life.
Okay, well, you said you were having some fun with your wife.
Living my life.
Oh, living your life. Well, did you have some fun with your wife at the same time?
I did. I visited some friends.
Oh, it must be nice
Had
to
a
be.
couple of beers.
Oh, so you're a little toasted.
A little toasted, a little roasted, ready to pass out.
Well, the reason that I called is I wanted to know how you thought I did with the tech tonight.
I'm sure you are right. How do you think you did?
Well, I only transitioned from one screen to the next.
Okay, but are you going to stick the landing with the goodbye screen?
I think I'm going to be able to stick the landing. There was a couple moments where the show froze, but otherwise I think it was mostly an incidental hiccup, as they say. I'm going to try to stick the landing.
Oh, well, congratulations, James. You're a real man now.
Oh, you mean that?
I do mean that.
Well,
you know what?
Yeah.
I think that I'm proud of you.
Oh, man. You're proud of me?
Yeah. I think that's what this feeling is.
You know, I have always envied people whose fathers were able to say that to them because I never got to experience that. So hearing it from you, not only did you teach me our broadcasting system today, but to know that I've made you proud is something that makes me proud.
Well, I am a father, James, so from one father to someone in desperate need of one, I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Well, before I let you go, Dave, what do you think about the new schedule? Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then a special Saturday, Sunday episode.
Sounds like you're going to have a lot of tech work to do.
Well, who knows? Maybe at some point I'll be able to transition to a guest while I'm teching.
Maybe one day. Training wheels.
Training wheels.
One day I'll be holding your hand as you're riding that tech bike down the road of life.
Yeah.
And I'll cry. Tears of joy.
Well, I can't wait till you teach me whatever the dating equivalent of tech is.
Yeah.
What's that like? What's that? Finding new plugins for Twitch.
Exactly. I'll give you the plug-in talk. You got to use protections when you plug something in.
That's true. You don't want to get any malware or Trojans.
Exactly. You want an antivirus. You want to wrap up your computer with an antivirus program.
That makes sense. Well, Dave, look, I want to let you go, and I just, I'm really happy I made you proud.
I'm happy for you.
All right. Bye, Dave.
Night.
What type of sicko wears sunglasses to bed? What a freak. He's probably some type of sex pervert. Folks, that's our show tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. We will be back tomorrow with actual guests. In addition to that, as I mentioned, the Game Master will be here. Mark Rowland will be here. Carmen Rose is going to be here on Saturday night as I return to another edition of On the Couch with Carmen. So many things going on this week. Before I let you go, I hope you're excited by what we're going to be doing with the show. I'm excited for it. I think this is going to be a fun change of pace. And at the same time, I want to thank everyone who has not only followed the show, both literally, but also proverbially as you follow us on Twitch. We really do appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I can speak for Dave and I can speak for Carla, Steph, Carmen, Dimitri, everyone who contributes to the show. It really does mean an awful lot. And if you ever have any ideas, don't hesitate to slide into my DMs like a big old perv and let me know what you want on At Home with James. Until then, guys, I am James. You are you. We were here. Good night, goodbye, farewell, and be well.